Whoa. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular, yeah, celebrities. Started with a combo, now the world leaning in. For vets in the room, let the stories begin. No filters, no scripts, just wisdom and sin. We talk hustle hard and the places we've been. From the field to the mic, that growth is the lesson. Turn pressure into presence, that's the real confession. Got the crowd tuned in for the raw and the rare. You can feel the truth breathe through the air. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrities. Talk music, talk ball, talk rank and salute. Every topic on the table, every word in pursuit. We the voice for the ones that the world overlook. Turn pain into punchlines, life into the hook. Yes, in the chair, we breaking the mold. Every episode's heat, every message is gold. No gimmicks, no mask, just purpose and peace. When the lights come on, that real don't cease. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrity. We ain't chasing fame, we redefining the game. Give light to the name that the system can't tame. Got the people tuned in, cause they feel our lane. It's the voice of the real, not a chase for acclaim. Mic check, then the vibe start to settle for a host. One stage and the truth is the medal. So before that show start, let the beat breathe steady. When you hear that name, just know we ready. Oh yeah, when you hear the name, just know we ready. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrities.
What up, people? We back again. What am I echoing? What is going? Am I echoing on your end?
No.
All right. Well, I'll just leave it where it's at then. What's up? What's up? Who's texting me? What's good? Hold on. I gotta do one thing. Boom, boom. Pretty excited today. I don't know why. All right. Boom. All right. We got everything working.
I wonder why. I know why.
Okay. I wonder why.
I know why.
Oh man,
Life's a lot better when you get some good news.
It's another good Saturday, Sunday. Shoot, man, I thought yesterday was Sunday, and now I think today is Saturday. I'm all toe up. What's up? I don't know how to say your name, but let me see if I can get this. At 3NP dash backwards E6X. You sound like you're Elon Musk baby. Are you Elon Musk baby? All right, but what's up, man? Welcome coming to the chat. Thanks for coming in. Welcome everybody to Unpopular Celebrities once again. But DC do a lot better than me, so take it away.
Peace, human beings. Peace, human beings. It's your boy Philly DC here on another lovely Sunday. The day the Lord has made. We thank you for being here with us. Whether you're working out, about to watch the games, cooking up some grits, eggs, and bacon, or maybe you were at church and you got us in one ear and on the other side of the ear you had the sermon. Either way, we appreciate you being here with us on this lovely Sunday. Like I said before, I am Philly DC. This is Pete, who is also the engineer. We have Jessica Player and Dell Brown as our members as well. We are your Unpopular Celebrities team with another podcast. So if this is your first time joining us, welcome. We ask that you make sure before you hit the door, like, share, and subscribe. Also on all of our social media channels, IG, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whatever. Also, if you're the type of person you would rather hear our voices rather than see our ugly mugs, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and also Spotify as well. Drop us a like, let us know how you like the show and how we can improve it. Every suggestion is always taken into account and executed on as always. We have a great show for you today. If you missed the last three shows, never fret. Like I said a few seconds ago, you can catch those shows on YouTube via video on Apple Podcasts on the audio. We are talking about military transitioning to civilian life. This is part 4 of the series. Again, we did the 3 parts the past previous shows, the past 3 Sundays, and this is part 4. This may be the last show on this topic. It depends on how far we go. Um, in all honesty, it is a very large subject, a vast subject. There's so many things to get into, but we're going to do our best today. We have a couple of different topics we're going to talk about. Out of the two of us, P has already transitioned, officially crossed over into the bright sands or the burning sands of retirement dome. He has his 214 or whatever ID card and all that. He is no longer a member of the Air Force in the active duty capacity. Whereas myself, yours truly, I am still part of the Air Force. So I'm just coming near the end of the part 4 session. But anyway, enough of that. I'll pause there for your comments before we move on.
Nah, good introduction. Like he said, I could grow the beard out officially and ain't got to worry about being called back from now on. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, DD 214 in hand, retirement ID card in hand. A lot of good things, a lot of okay things, a lot of different things. But if you joined us for the last 3 parts, you know about a little bit about retirement. I think we skipped over some things, but if y'all got some questions while we going through this, let us know. Charles Davis, thanks for coming in here as always. Great weekend because the Eagles are on the couch. They've been on the couch for 2 weeks now, so it don't matter. They'll be looking at 2027. Speaking of football, the Atlanta Falcons have signed their new head coach. Finally, an offensive head coach. So we'll see what happens. Last time we had an offensive head coach, we made it all the way to the Super Bowl where we got waxed by the Patriots. But we'll see if we have a better outcome for this one. We will see. But yeah, another
any word on if they made that other decision about the Falcons?
What other decision?
About
to kick him out the league?
The Canadian Football League. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that has came down, and as a unanimous vote, they are going to stay the NFL and in the NFC South.
Terrible.
Where we will be the champions next year. Anyway.
I heard you guys are thinking about enlisting help from all corners of Atlanta.
We will take anybody right now. Yeah. We will take Dominic Peterson from the couch of Phoenix, Arizona to come if he can do anything productive for the team. So anybody, we are having open tryouts for the Atlanta Falcons until the start of next year. We're looking for any and everybody. So
I heard y'all next receiver name is Diamond.
That's fine. Hey, we'll take her too. Him or her too. Hey, it doesn't matter. We taking everybody. We want the first female to come play NFL and play for the Atlanta Falcons. If you could play, come on. We take come on. It don't matter. It does not matter.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay, we digress, man. We can talk football all day, but this is not what this show is about. So we're gonna press on. So as I said, part 4 of this series. This is when you finally are about to cross over into, I would call, the burning sands of retirement. You know, as some of you folks who are retirees that would call DD 214 blanket.
Oh, never heard of that.
Yeah, shoot, all the time. People are like, oh, I can't believe this is like this in the military. I, for one, sleep comfortably in my DD 214 blanket.
Oh, I have heard that. Yeah, when you put it like that, yeah.
Then you have your folks with your retiree hat that says Iraqi freedom veteran, Afghanistan veteran. I have PTSD. You don't want to mess with me.
That's great. I never see that.
Yeah, I thought that was. They have some with the T-shirts and stuff, so I thought that was interesting. Curious. It's kind of sidetracked, but it's not. Now that you've transitioned over, do you plan on partaking in some of those traditions?
None of them at all. I didn't even know it was a tradition, but none of them at all.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna put veteran on my license plate. I
Wow.
won't be putting no bumper stickers, no back window plate stickers, none of that stuff. Nothing at all.
Mm,
The only way you'll know is if you ask.
mm. So you don't foresee yourself at the BX stopping little kids, telling them about how the military life
Yo,
is?
you know what? I might do that for fun, just for fun. I might try it one time just to see what it feel like. Stop an old first sergeant or you do. Oh man, I was a shirt. I
Mhm.
might do that one time or a defender. Who a defender? I might throw a who a defender out there and just see how see how the reaction is.
You're not gonna pull over to the side, walk up to the gang arm like, "Hey, when I was a defender back in the day, we knew our post briefing."
Nah, nah. I ain't gonna mess with none of the defenders at the gate. But oh, if I see you at the BX, it might be on. It might be on. If I see you at the shop at getting a tornado, it might be on.
He said tornado. Tornado.
I might,
Ah.
I might hit you with the horn defender.
That's funny.
Devon McCoy, shout out to the Ravens, who also got rid of their coach and was quickly signed. But anyway, we won't talk about football. I'll keep digressing.
Oh, quick disclaimer. Last thing about press. Some of you who may watch this are wondering why I'm wearing this jersey. For two reasons. One, this is Eric Dickerson, one of the greatest running backs of all time. Number two, this is the team I'm rooting for the rest of the NFC playoffs. They play today, the Los Angeles Rams. Shout out to Matthew Stafford and crew. Now that unfortunately, my Eagles are out, I got to root for somebody so I can continue watching. So I'll root for the Rams, which,
Sounds
by the way, we beat them twice. But anyway, that's why I'm wearing the jersey. So we can move on.
all right.
Okay. Now, first, part four. This phase is talking about like when the structure is gone, structure meaning when you're used to waking up in the morning every day, putting your uniform on, you know you got to be at work at a certain time, you know you got meetings, whatever you may be, or like some people like Devon McCoy, you got a bunch of pieces of paperwork you got to push. You know, you ain't got to worry about that no more.
Taking
The
excuses.
phone stops ringing, the urgency is gone. Um, to like Pete's point, maybe my point, not Devon McCoy, because he ain't got nobody calling him. But you might have people calling you, needing stuff or whatever, needing your counsel. They may end, and then your identity, which I love, and I'll pause after this, is your identity that you carry for decades begin to quietly slip away. Your thoughts?
Man, you said that perfectly. That's a very true statement. And it is very weird, I think, on certain levels when you're used to getting phone calls or when you come in the office and people have questions for you, or you come into work and people have questions for you. That doesn't slowly start to disappear. I think it disappears pretty fast. I think it happens quite quickly. What it does is a very big shock. Not putting the uniform on, some people says, "Oh, it feels good. Oh, that feels great," but it is definitely different. Definitely different. And yeah, I'll just say it's definitely different. But how was it for you once the phone call stopped ringing or people, stopped saying chief? Damn, I got called a paper pusher. I mean, you kind of are a paper pusher. Heard the Eagles looking for a wide receiver with hands. Yeah, possibly.
Oh, really?
I lead airmen. Well, thank you. Thank you, McCoy. Thank you, McCoy. All right, what is your thoughts before we get sidetracked? What is your thoughts on not getting phone calls anymore? How was that your first? How was your first reaction to that?
I shared with a couple of people I know. The first 2 weeks, you included, first 2 weeks was tough. No, the first 2 weeks was tough. It
Right.
was really tough. I mean, I've had times in my lifetime where I was in a low period, but that was one of them. It was tough, man. And to the folks out there who might say, like, why would it be tough? Like, man, you hear these stories about why worried about the military? They're gonna move on without you.
Yep.
They don't care about you. And in some cases, I think that's true. But I think for someone who's been invested in it as long as I have, it's true, but you still feel left out. It feels like, it's like your friends just went on with, like you just left your friends behind. And so that's how I felt.
I
I
think
was
the
so,
best way I could try to explain is like when you left high school, but you still have friends in high school. So you still
Yeah,
hear
I
about high
forgot that.
school
Yeah,
stories and
yeah.
things they do, go to the football games on Friday, and you get classified as that guy who just can't let high school go and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it's sort of similar to that, but it is a very weird feeling. How was it for you for not waking up and putting on the uniform?
Oh, it was really weird. I'm used to ironing my uniform every day. The
Yeah,
last time
yeah,
I
yeah,
ironed was, golly, I think my transfer of responsibility. No, the day before that,
yeah.
and I miss it. I do.
I think it at first it felt good, but then it's just like, man, like I ain't got nowhere to go. Like I ain't got nowhere to go. Luckily, I had a surgery, so I was in convalescent for a while. So I was laid up on the couch anyway. But then it comes to a point where it's just like, man, I got to put on civilian clothes every day. A question from the audience, DC, how long were you in?
32 years.
Ooh, we. I told DC he can starch what? Starch and itch by doing my records. Oh, scratch. Scratch the
Come
itch.
on, I never sent you my email. My bad. I'm gonna text it to you now. I'm sorry, man. I was supposed to.
Dang. I look at your records if you want, Devon. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't bother. You might not
Hey,
listen to him. Yeah.
quick response. Good to go. GTG. It's all I'm saying back. GTG.
GTG.
Yeah, you gonna get
Good
a
to
you
go.
gonna get an
Good
auto
to go.
response. GTG.
GTG.
Submit. Hey, good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the structure is weird to give up. Driving somewhere is weird to give up. But I think you have to don't rush to get over it, but you will have to get over it. But no need for rushing. Hey, if you feel like you still want to go into work, just don't bother people. I think that's the whole thing. Like if you feel like you want to go in there because you got something to do, like if you got to go do some out processing stuff or go to medical or whatever, and you want to pop by your job, I feel like there's no problem. Pop by your job.
Yeah. I won't say that's wrong. I guess my approach would be I think it's best that you I can identify with simmering in it. There's something about accepting the feelings that you're going through, your emotions that you're going through with this transition. I think that's very important. No need to hide it, no need to try to dismiss it. Accept it, but then you quickly for me, I had to quickly move out of it because I've had a couple of people share with me before I did my ceremony that this was going to happen.
Mm.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks. The first day after the retirement ceremony, everybody was gone. And really, you were the only one calling me. I had like every once in a while, I have some people call me, but you were obviously my dude consistently calling me. Outside of that, that was it. And the silence was deafening.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
it was hard. And
Hmm.
luckily, shout out to Wendy, man. She knew this was coming. You know, I told her all the time, I think her buying me a dog and then being involved in my internship at school and going to school, I had to go to work. I had things I had to do, and that kept me busy. That helped me get through it. But yeah, it was hard initially.
Yeah, it is pretty difficult. But everybody will get through it how they get through it. So no rush. And it's so weird because, like you said, you have people telling you, and you're like, "Yeah, I got it," but you don't really got it until it happens, and then
Right,
you're just like, ooh wee,
right,
this is all gone."
right. And I
But
think so this stage also, when you're going through those emotions, I think you're also starting to question whether you made the right decision or not too. I'll start with finances.
it's a
I
good
think
one.
we mentioned in a previous show, when you make this decision, you should already think ahead of time whether financially you're able to do this anyway. You're going to have to get out sooner or later. No one can stay in forever. But when you make that decision, you have to start thinking, one, you're not going to get a paycheck twice a month anymore. You're going to get one time a month. Two, there's a possibility of having additional income through VA disability, whatever, but it's not automatic. So that is something for that. And we talked about that in part three of some of the things you can do to help get you to that point because, and maybe you may share some of this, but if you're able, if you have the physical and mental ailments that will propel you to potentially get a high disability rating or the crowning jewel, the true north, the star in the sky 100%,
So,
that is a heck of a benefit that you can get to a dad to your retirement. I'll pause there.
yeah.
Charles Davis says, so tell us without telling us you shed tears. 20 plus is a long time, so I get it. Thank you. Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna lie. I'll say this and I'll be quiet. Yeah, I had a day where I had to let that process. It hurt, man. Like it's not the Air Force fault, but it's like, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. I came in at 20 years. And those 20 years, the Air Force has been in my life. I've had 2 kids while I've been in the Air Force. I was married for 30 years. My wife and I have been married for 31 years, going on 32 this year. All of it has been in the Air Force. Traveled the world, deployed, see people die, good friends of mine, troops of mine passed. It was hard, man. So yeah,
Can we go back to the finance piece real quick?
yeah.
I want to put something in perspective for you for your years, but you could do it for your own years. So you have been getting paid on the first of 50. You know how many paychecks you got for 32 years?
How many?
832 paychecks.
Mm.
That's quite, and consistently, I don't think, besides maybe a couple years where it might have been late or you got a half because of whatever happened. I don't know if you ever experienced that, but I know for me, I had like a half check one time and then it came another half a couple weeks later because of what was going on with the shutdown and stuff like that. But 832 consistent checks on the 1st of 15th. And then one day it just stops. So when you get out on the 15th or whatever day it is, you won't get paid. And it is a weird feeling to whether I don't know how people do their finance, where they get a message that says you got whatever amount money add to your account, direct deposit, or you go in there and look, or you're about to pay your bills and you see your money, blah, blah. It's not there. At any time a paycheck doesn't come, you go to finance and be like, yo, I didn't get paid. But this is something you have to prepare for, is not getting paid. I had people call me as a shirt that retired and was like, "Hey, when am I going to get paid? When am I going to get my retirement check? When is it going to come?" It's like, God, dog, like you have to be really prepared. I'm not saying you have to have a 9-month emergency fund ready to go and tap into that, but at least a couple months. What is your thoughts on selling leave or burning it?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because then I'm pretty much saying I was a hypocrite. Because I would tell
Okay.
people never to sell leave because
Right.
leave is valuable, it's time off. But I think that thought process changes significantly when you're about to retire. I think you're gonna have plenty of leave,
Yeah.
meaning you're not going to work.
Right.
So if you have at the bottom line, I think you need to budget in. You're gonna need some time to process. Don't sell your leave just to go back to work. And we can get into that in a little bit later as far as
Okay.
folks who retire and they go right to work.
Mm.
But there's a significant financial advantage for you to have some leave, 15 days, 20 days, 30 days to sell back. And what they'll do is for some people who are financially savvy, who has a significant amount of savings, they may not need to sell leave. But for some of you folks that are living paycheck to paycheck, no shame on that game. There's
Right.
a lot of us that's doing it.
Right.
But if you're in a strap for money, this is a perfect time to sell back that leave to give you a bit of a buffer.
That was gonna be my response. Is if you said it perfectly. I'll just echo what you said. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, save up some leave, do some skill bridge, or just work until the end, and then sell it back. And people will be like, "No, it's your leave. Burn it. Use it. Take some time off. Handle you some time off." I get it, but don't forget, you're not going to get paid. It's going to feel different when you don't get that paycheck. Whatever your paycheck is, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, whatever it is, it just feels weird not getting. I'm not saying you're going to be in a hole, but it's going to feel weird. Shout out Chief Hall, who's about to retire. Hey, when'd you retire? I think it's February 6th, but make sure I know because I need to put that in my calendar so I can show up. Having a budget is so important. I'm experiencing that now. I also feel you on the 20 plus years, plus 20 years. Yeah.
Shout out to Daniel Hall. He's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Good dude.
So Yeah, definitely had that financial piece squared away. And yeah, hopefully you just have that squared away. That's the best thing I could say is have it squared away.
If
February
you
6th, I got you.
if you don't, then now it's time to like, I have this, I firmly believe sometimes when you make a mistake, especially a long mistake, at some point you got to stop beating yourself in the head. You're gonna have to go to work and come up with solutions. So this goes back to selling your leave. You've got to recognize this early enough so you can make that decision to sell it back. And to Pete's point, you keep working or whatever, you may have to sacrifice some early time at terminal. Now, if you need the terminal leave because you're relocating or
Good
whatever,
point.
then factor that in. But if you don't have the savings, selling back that leave may help you out significantly.
And I think it's that thing. Hold on, McCoy said, I understand where people come from for about not selling leave, but I look at it the payment as for form of over. That's a hey, McCoy, that's a great point. For everybody who's on
Mhm.
here, read that. It is a form of overtime. And people would be like, I'm sitting at home, I'm still getting paid. Why would I do that? Because the paycheck is going to stop. You really have to forward think. And it's not going to stop forever because hopefully you retire with honorable. Hopefully you get your retirement check. It's not going to stop forever, but keep yourself a buffer for those 30 days, 15 days that you're not going to get a paycheck because it just feels weird. It really
Right,
does. It really does.
right.
You were saying about not going to work right away or about going to
Yeah.
work right away. You want to touch on
Before
that?
I Yeah, before I get on that, one
Uh,
more thing about the finance piece. You also have to get to a point, and that's I'm kinda getting my head on myself because that's a little bit later. Y I mentioned you only get 1 paycheck a month. That's also if you unless you get VA disability, but you only get 1 paycheck. So, if you don't have a budget, I'm not judging you. You're gonna have to start making one now because
mm.
this idea of, "I'm gonna hold to the 15th to do this and the 20th," you don't have that option. Some people prefer getting 1 paycheck a month. They want
Some
it all
people
at
do
once.
that in the military, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird to me.
yeah, it's weird, but you're really gonna be very have to be intentional on factoring in that. Now, as far as going back to work right away, I know a couple of good friends of mine who I won't mention his name, but it's a gentleman I respect dearly. He's a fantastic leader, and he worked to the very end. He took off his uniform. The next day, he appeared in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
It was a SES.
Mm-hmm.
So he went from an '06 to an SES. So, hey, well deserved, super sharp guy. But dang, man, like I just feel like everybody's different. Some people like the chase to continue to make money, to continue to have a responsibility. It's almost like a drug. You are used to being that person, that man, that woman who has that position in that rank. And the idea of you transitioning and not having it is can be very is very it makes them afraid to be in that space. But then you have an opportunity, someone's going to offer you a GS position at either the same rank equivalent or higher. It's very enticing. Plus, some good money. But I feel like a lot of people have to take that time to take a pause. There's no need to rush right back in it because I tell you, people who've done 20 or plus years, you think you're not tired, but you are. Some
Mm-hmm.
people you try to convince yourself, I can keep going, I can keep going. I admire you for that, and I understand that competitiveness because I felt the same way. But after my ceremony and I went through the week of processing this, I realized this time off has been great for me to be able to process everything I went through. You'll find you have hidden emotions, issues, trauma that you didn't realize was there because you suppressed it. And for you folks that are in the special forces community, security forces, or any community for that. And you have folks who've deployed, things you've seen, you just push it to the side because you was afraid you was gonna lose your weapon, you was gonna lose your position, somebody's gonna judge you. Now's this time to work through that because what you don't want to do is carry that over to the end and you take off the uniform.
Couple key points. Martin Foster, shout out to him. Do you still got the podcast? And apologize if you do and I haven't seen it. So but hopefully you still do. But shout out to him. He said, I went 2 months without a paycheck after retirement due to being impacted by shutdown. Possibility, it sucks. Josh Hoore Wells. Am I saying that right? Josh Hoore Wells. I pushed out my retirement date a few months just for that financial part, savings and relocating the family and escaping Los Angeles. Ooh, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Charles Davis said, I switched to one paycheck, or I switched to one paycheck a month a couple of years ago once I got over 20 to prepare. Smart. I would hit the financial little button for you,
Hold on a
but
second.
smart. Yeah, I got it.
Hold on.
Smart. DC, you're right. I'm tired as hell. That's why I'm talking and keeping my leave. Yeah. Taking and keeping my leave. Okay. Hey, what's the podcast name again? Please put it in there so people can follow that. We Hey, what up? I love the picture of Kanye on there. What's good with you? But I do think there's something about going back to work because, to your point, I have a good friend that said that his biggest regret was starting work right away. He should have took some time off.
Mm.
And so I took time off. You took time off. So I think there comes a point where enough is enough. And I think I've reached that. Passing the torch. Thanks. That's Martin Foster's podcast. If y'all want to check that out,
Shout out to
Passing
Martin.
the torch. Charles Davis. That was smart, Charles, for switching your paycheck to once a month, because that's the first impact I'm going through. I haven't got my retirement check yet. That'll come hopefully February, but not getting paid on the 15th is a trip. Dale, what's good? Dale Brown in the building.
Brown in the building.
What's good with you, bro? You can still come on here whenever you want.
Yeah,
Open
whenever you're
invite.
ready.
Yeah, but hope everything's good with you and everything going on out there in Germany. But yeah, switching to one paycheck, and then you don't have to go back. If you're financially set up that you have to go back to work, if you have a job, I won't say turn down a job to take a break, but hopefully you can explain to your employer, like, yo, I need a couple weeks off, need a month off, whatever it is, reset, and then maybe go back to work. But definitely, like Philly said, reset. There needs to be a reset phase, because it is very weird after your retirement to, like, what do I do now? I can't go. I don't want to go into work because I don't want to be that guy. Like, yo, you retired. What you doing here?
Review your records.
Yeah. Take a tactical pause to reset. Whatever that means for you. Go to the casino every day. Go play golf. Go to the gym. Whatever that means for you. Sit on your couch and be a bum for a couple days. Eat Fruity Pebbles, whatever, all day. Like, reset yourself. Reset, and however long that takes is up to you. Different for everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. So I think the other thing I'd like to bring up too is not only the finances part, and not only Martin says I did an episode with Shane Pilgrim discussing financial resilience. Yeah.
That's what's up. Check that out, y'all.
The other thing to consider too is what's next in your career, in your lifetime. So you have different things to consider. You have some folks, shout out to Luz Hollis, the greatest shirt in the world.
Second
Samel
greatest.
Brown.
You freaking hater.
No, she's the greatest shirt.
Second haters. Second greatest.
Yo, Luz Hollis is like Justin Jefferson. You're like Todd Pinkston.
I don't even know who Todd Pinkston is.
Okay, I'll put it in better perspective. Luz Hollis is Tom Brady. You're like that quarterback on the Broncos, the backup.
That is crazy.
Okay, well, I digress. Then you got Samel Brown, who's traveling the world with his family.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have certain folks like Michael Holland, child of Michael Holland, Eric Blanco, and some Corey that are doing stuff outside the civilian community. And so the reason why I bring that up is you're going to have to decide what's next for you. And I would tell people, I would caution if you assume that the only thing you can do is what you did in the military. I would ask for you to rethink that thought. You are more than just what you've done in the Air Force or any military service in that matter. If you came in as a defender, doesn't mean you have to do defender work when you get out. If you came as a personnel, it's the same way. The only thing is look at those skills as an addition to your portfolio because you're going to find when you start to really look at what you did in the military, it translates to other fields. Case in point, for me being a defender, I assume I just, could do security work. My graduate degrees or undergrad degrees is in psychology and criminal justice, and I'm working on the social work piece, right? So a lot of people point towards their degrees, what they can do on the civilian sector. But being a defender or being a maintainer or being a personnel and you're a senior NCO, you can translate those skills into human resources. You can translate those skills into project management. So consider that when you try to figure out what you're going to do. I'll pause there.
Yeah, Martin, let us know, man. We're always ready to go on somebody else's show and tear that thing up. We're ready. Daniel Hall says, "What up, Chief? If you ever come on the podcast and don't say what up to me and say what up to somebody else, we gonna have problems." DC, to your point, what about Devon McCoy? I think he's only like a one-trick pony. I think pushing papers is really where he shines. I don't know if he's able to do different things, so you gotta be careful.
No, that's not true. I think Devon would do well as like a Capitol guard.
Oh
Like a
yeah,
Capitol DC
hey, he
guard.
does have a good point. He
You know
said
how
you
you
ain't.
raise up the little drop arm? I think he'll be good at that.
Yeah, hey, he said you ain't defended a base in 12 years. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I
That's
ain't
a
gonna
great.
say nothing to
That's
that.
a
God
great
bless you.
point.
God bless you. God bless you.
Oh, it's all right, Chief. You at least said what up. The other chief said good morning to you. I am appalled. I'm borderline pissed off, but a little bit appalled. More appalled than anything. But yeah, back to your point. I think the important thing, and maybe back me up on this, is degrees. Get a degree in something you want to do, not in what you're doing now. What is your thoughts on that?
It depends on what you're into. I think what it really boils down to is what would motivate you to get out of bed in retirement. Now, there are some people who don't have a choice and they have to go to work fast because they need that income. Then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no shame in leaning on what you're good at now. If you were, like I said, if you were an engineer and you was a plumber and you wanted to go to work fast and there was a job for a plumber, then take it. Yeah, if you need the
Mm-hmm.
finances. But remember, this is a second career. And I want to get into this in a second too about the perception of folks who retire in the military when it comes to your spouses or your friends, their thought process on it. I would love to get into that in a second. But anyway, this is a second career. Some of you are going to be in their late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s. Me, I'm in my 50s.
Whew!
You think I want to sit out and guard a gate on my feet?
You
Or I
was
want to
good.
carry boxes?
You was good
Hell
at. You good at
no.
that. That could be
I
your
ain't
calling.
doing that.
Home
No.
Security Forces.
My brother, let's see, Charles Davis says, my brother retired Army MP and started a private security business. Straight, used his military skills in the field, but with business acumen. This is a great example of leveraging what you know into a business where he doesn't have to guard anything. He just watches people do it. And it's his own business. So that's a great way of thinking about it too. I'll pause there.
Yeah, Dale says, have y'all heard degrees get you the interview, but certificates get you, or certifications get you the job? Use that Air Force cool. I haven't heard that, but I will say that possibly podcasting is moderating CCTV. Just kidding, don't do. Yeah, that's funny. I haven't heard that, Dale, but I can imagine that that could be a thing. Depending on what field, it all depends on what you want to do. And the world is your oyster, or however that saying goes. The world is your playground, whatever you want to say. And being that it could be a little bit overwhelming because it's like, what now? You have so many avenues you have to go. And I think the biggest thing is everybody knows is networking, 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 networking. And you have to be okay with being humble enough to put yourself out there and say, I'm willing to take a step back from what you were in the military for the civilian life. You're not good. I'm not gonna say you're not. I don't want to speak in absolutes, but it's going to be difficult to go in somewhere and be in charge when you haven't done that before, or even if you've done it in the military for 20 years, and to be out and be like, "Hey, I'm here now. Put me, in charge of these people." They're like, "Yo, bro, wait up. Yeah, I need you to, slow your roll." And they won't say that, but you big might have to humble yourself. When I retire, I feel like I want to be completely removed from the military. Devon, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's why I gather.
I hope not from life. Like you just want to be a hermit,
No, shit.
just
Probably.
live, just live in a cave somewhere. But
Yeah.
I yeah, I know you said you want to get into another point, but I just don't know. It's so many different ways you can go, and it's very difficult because it's so wide open. And timing is important, right? Right place, right time, opportunities. All these things have to align to get you in the right spots. Sh- I don't want to speak in absolutes, so it's not for everybody, but just
We covered last show a little bit about Skill Bridge, and there's a lot of examples of when Skill Bridge goes right, where you have folks that I'm aware of that did Skill Bridge and then translated or propelled them into a position with the company. That's when Skill Bridge works out. Then you have Skill Bridge that doesn't work out well, where you work for a company and you don't get a job, and then you feel like 3, 4 months has been wasted. And then you have some that just didn't do nothing, Skill Bridge. West Lawrence says companies want to see you with a valid degree that will benefit their company. Um,
I would say I agree.
let's touch on that. And full transparency, I'm not very well skilled in this or knowledgeable in this area because I'm still, on active duty and actively looking for stuff out there. But I would tell you my experience. I've seen folks, I won't mention
Got
names, but
bears.
I've seen folks get positions not being not having a degree in the job that they're in and not having the skills that they're looking for, but they got hired because on the strength of them being in the military, mostly because the interviewer or the person was digging who they were.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to what Pete was saying about networking. You'll meet people who know you don't have the qualifications, who know you don't have the degree in that field, and they will hire you. You think about it, you've got people who are in human resources director positions and they have a degree in criminal justice.
All right.
You got people in human resource director positions and they have a degree in psychology, bachelor's degree, but they got hired. So I'm not saying, Wes, you're wrong. You are right in some aspects, but a lot of it is, I think the number one thing in my point of view, and I'm curious to hear what you think, and I'll be quiet after that, is your your networking, like how people perceive you is so important. And I was telling my wife the other day about Khalif Wright, former chief master on the Air Force, and she was like, it's about, oh, he was a CEO at Air Force Aid Society and stuff, and
Mhm.
that's amazing. I said, babe, he was former chief master sergeant in the Air Force. She's like, oh, I'm sure that ain't the real reason why ain't the only reason why he got it. That's true. But you think when you work for an organization and you serve the Air Force and you're the former chief master sergeant Air Force, you don't think that's a huge win for the company?
Right, right.
And for
Mhm.
somebody who is arguably the most popular chief master sergeant Air Force of all time, next to
Mm,
maybe Chief Gaylord, that's a
mhm,
huge win for the Air Force Aid Society. So
mhm.
that's a good to me, that's a good example of having the right personality and the right street cred, I guess, for a bad way of putting it, to be able to walk in a position to get hired. I'll pause there.
Especially when they're trying to recruit young people.
Mhm.
And while he was in, his big main focus was on the younger airmen and being able to reach them on the social media piece and things he was putting out. So yeah, I think like you said, it's a lot of it's networking who you are and where you're at. My take is not an absolute. You're right that your experience matters too. Networking matters, skills matter. Yeah, Wes, to your other point, I will agree as you fill out your applications, and I encourage everyone to look at your stuff now. whether you're getting out in 10 years, 2 years, 5 years, just go on LinkedIn and apply for a job and just read the requirements and see if you fit those. And if you don't, what kind of things can you start doing now to fit those? If that's what you want to do, if you want to do an HR piece, some will say bachelor's in human resources. So if that's what you want to do to help you be competitive, if you don't have the networking piece, then maybe get those skills that would help you out. So I encourage everyone, whether you're 2 years out, 10 years out, 5 years out, not if you got 18 years out, but if you're over the hump, I will say go on to the LinkedIn if you want to get a job when you get out. A couple comments here. Networking is more than who you know, it's also who knows you. Man, well said. Well said.
Yeah.
And back to what Philly said, people will put you in positions because they know who you are. Tony Bostic,
The gooch.
100% correct. Networking, relationships, and our personality are better than degrees, other than technical degrees. Very true. Very true. All right, as these comments fly in, can you read this one?
Life to live abroad, specifically with
You went out for a second.
amongst
Oh, there
many
you go. You're back.
things to include online work if I want. That's great. I know a lot of people who migrate to the Philippines to
Mhm.
live there. Low cost of living.
Pete, I need 2 pages of Harry Potter book during your. Hey, no problem. No problem. As long as I can pick the 2 and I can practice, I got you. Certification are more important. Okay, that's what Dell says. Certifications are more important than degrees. Can you read this one?
From Alicia, I have a sociology degree, but I have the job I have due to leadership experience in maintenance.
Hmm.
Transitioning from military, I learned certifications are huge. Oh, shout out to certifications. I need to get mine up. Devon McCoy says, ooh, oh, or rather, he said, oh, you recommending paper pushing, hashtag human resources. You know what? There's an
There's
old
different
first
levels of
sergeant
human resource.
there's an old first sergeant work for me named Letitia Bright. And I saw her LinkedIn page, a quote that I was like, man, I need to steal that. She said, putting the human back into human resources. I think that sums up what
Mm.
human resources is. It's not just paper pushing. It is being able to ensure the work environment is for everyone to be able to thrive in a work environment. It's another form of EO. It's another form of, do I dare say DI, or another form of getting folks to be able to perform well. Wes Lawrence says we're going to give Pete a hooked on phonics certification.
Shout out Wes Lawrence. It's hey, you wrote it down. Wrote it down. You wrote it down. So
He wrote
now,
it
so now we got to make sure it comes to fruition. Appreciate that. The Hooked on Phonics certification. I'll see it coming to my front door pretty soon, or email pretty soon. So I appreciate that. I'll make sure I complete the full 2-week course or whatever it is, the CBT.
uh,
But yeah,
so I want to let's get I want to continue down that path talking about employment. One thing I discovered, how many of you out there have a LinkedIn page and you have never touched it? You just did it because you heard about LinkedIn initially, you put your picture up there, you did a couple of things, but it's just you in a military uniform. Not saying nothing that's bad. But one thing I noticed when I retired, yo, I had to change all that. You know what I mean? Like when recruiters look at your page daily looking for people for jobs. And if all they see, I'm guilty because I haven't changed mine yet because I haven't found a picture I like yet. But if your page says strategic leader, leader of airmen, defender killer, or whatever, like
Defender
LinkedIn is
Killer
not
is
Facebook.
crazy.
LinkedIn is not that to me. That sums it up right there. LinkedIn is not Facebook. That is not the place to share the same things you would put on Facebook on LinkedIn. I'll pause there.
Yeah, I mean, you keep going. Chad Golf, shout out to
Yeah,
him.
what's up, bro?
He said LinkedIn before it was cool.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. There are folks who use their LinkedIn page and they still talk about what they do. I applaud that because in a way, you being in the military is a
What
way
up,
to
Chris?
still promote yourself on LinkedIn. So if you're doing great things in the military, leadership wise, um, innovative wise, yeah, you keep putting it on LinkedIn because recruiters still looking at that. And you have people who you serve with or used to serve with still follow you on LinkedIn. So, but I will tell you, one thing I noticed is when I had to change my LinkedIn page, it was a chore because, like, I'm used to
Man.
writing in military jargon. I'll pause there.
No,
Chad says
go.
connections and relationships matter, digital and in person, they all matter. Exactly. I've seen it was a struggle for me because I write in military jargon. So when I started changing my page, shout out to Wendy Council, who is a gem at that. She was like, "Yo, you're doing it wrong." She put me on game, and maybe you guys may know, but I didn't know how powerful LinkedIn is. And for you folks out there who don't have LinkedIn Premium, if you're not already signed up for the program for you to get LinkedIn for a year because you're active duty, you need to do that. But I would caution you and say do it when you're getting close to a year out so you
Mhm.
can effectively use it. I got a year LinkedIn Premium for free when I was early chief, and I didn't even use it.
Mhm.
It was pointless. I'll pause
Mhm.
there.
No, that's a great point. When you get that LinkedIn Premium, I don't have that, and now I gotta pay for it. So been kind of waiting to get it. Market yourself, not out of arrogance,
Market,
but huh?
market.
That's what I said.
I'm sorry.
Market
I'll be
yourself.
quiet. You
Oh,
said mortgage.
I did market yourself, not out of arrogance, but because of your value and what you offer to others, not just employers. Great
Mhm,
point, Chad. Shout out Chad Van Cleef Golf. Convert your language to civilian speak on LinkedIn.
mhm.
That's kind of what we just said. Facts. Uh, I forgot your other point where you're correcting that to yours. Please use it to correct one of the first things major companies ask for is your LinkedIn. Okay, I get it. I get it. Can you read this one? Oh,
Alicia says,
Northrop
I
Grumman.
see LinkedIn is good for networking when posting for work. Northrop Grumman has a great program that even gives feedback on how resumes should look.
Oh,
Oh
didn't know
man, I
that.
will get into resumes too when we get that opportunity.
Connection. We already read this. Use AI to change that up
Yes,
real quick.
yes, yes,
Good thing that
yes,
AI does.
yes,
It's only free for a year. Tony,
yes.
how much is it after that? How much is premium
Bro,
after
it's
that?
it's expensive.
Oh, okay. AI is clutch. Use it. Bigger companies are looking at your social presence and be real.
Mhm.
It's not hard. We
Yep,
have a lot of talented talent to offer companies. Yeah, I agree with
yep.
that. And I think that LinkedIn is difficult for people who have never used it, and it's almost easier to start over than having to
Yeah.
update. It
Mhm.
almost is because having to update is a pain. Stop putting your damn EPBs on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's true. I think, com- you know,
Unless you translate it.
yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Yeah,
Translate it to me.
convert your title, whatever your title was. So if you're a first sergeant, don't put
Oh,
first sergeant.
man.
If you're a command chief, don't put command chief. If you're a flight sergeant, please God, don't put flight sergeant. But you could utilize it for whatever it is you're trying to do, and try to stay consistent for what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get in human resources, you don't need to put down that you're a flight sergeant and that you did 12 tickets, or that you are a desk sergeant and you dispatch 900 calls. That's not going to get you into the human resources
Yeah.
phase. Alicia, you said that Northrop Grumman looks at your resume. Can you put some more information? I'm actually trying to get my resume looked at a little bit more. And I'll ask you this, Philly. There are resume builders out there like resume.co. AI does resume builders. What do you think about that compared to doing your own? And when I say doing your own, like from
Yeah,
scratch.
I think any tool is valuable. I am not a nothing against folks, but I would not pay someone a incredible amount of money to do your resume.
What
I
would you
think it's
pay somebody?
unnecessary. I wouldn't, but if I had to, I wouldn't pay no more than a couple $100
Okay,
because
about the same.
to somebody that put in there earlier, um, AI tools is great. If you know how to use, the key is knowing how to use AI. And for folks that may think, who are anti AI, AI is going to conquer the world or whatever. To me, AI is like any tech tool of technology. You have to know how to use it properly and accurately.
Mhm.
If you can do that, it's huge. It saves you so much time, and it's a great way to fact check your resume. one thing I learned from Wendy is like, and this, this is for GS jobs, but this also applies for the civilian world. When you look at the job title, take out what it says, like in the GS sector, it'll say key skills and abilities. You take that and you compare it to what you have and your achievements, and you write your resume based off of that. It's the same the way you would do your EPB, right? You take a look at everything you've done in your award package and your decorations, and you translate it into your enlisted performance report. It's the same way for resumes. And in the civilian sector, it'll say stuff like what you have, and it tells you all the things you should have. It says what sets you apart, and then it tells you all the things you should have. That is
Mhm.
a great way to identify if you're the right candidate. And here's the other thing, even if you're not, apply anyway.
Mm.
Apply anyway. Most jobs you get in with the interview. I
Hmm.
paused it.
Specifically, order of importance in having a clear with the date of investigation. Very important to put with relocating. You need an outside look. I promise you. What do you mean an outside look? Like
You
more than
talking
just
about,
AI?
yeah, outside the military civilian look. Here's what I caution, right? Here's what I caution. There is nothing wrong with having somebody outside look at it, but just remember, if you remember, like when you remember you folks out there that send your records to people and you get different thoughts of how bad your EPB looks for your records,
Right,
it's gonna be the same way for a resume.
right.
Everyone has different things. Now, it's valuable if you're about to apply to Northrop Grumman or Apple or Amazon or something like that, and you have somebody internally that works there that looks at it. That's valuable because they're speaking with authority and credibility because they work there.
Right.
If you're sending your resume to somebody who currently works at Target, but you're trying to get a job at Apple, you gotta wonder about the feedback. That's just my personal view.
Yeah, Wes Lawrence says, I recommend that we put EPRs and EPB duty titles into AI and have them change it to civilian. That's kind of what I suggested earlier. Great point on that. Alicia said, taking out a lot of the fluff and tailoring it to the position you are going for. Yeah, I heard that a million times. EPB transfers to STAR method. What is the STAR method employees use for interviews? What is the STAR method? Do you know?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Let me
It's an acronym, it seems like.
yeah, it seems like something I need to ask chat. Let me Google that. What is the star? She gonna respond before I can get this in for
Yeah, I'm
interviews.
going
First
on
thing
to it.
that comes up.
Yeah.
Structure framework to answers. Let me see if it says situation, the task you face, actions you look, and positive results you achieve. Yep,
Pretty
she
good.
yeah,
Is that correct, Alicia?
yeah, she said
Situation, task, action, result.
yep.
Is that what Chat said?
That's what she said. Yeah, that's what Google said.
Okay, well, there you go. There you have it.
Mhm.
Hey, while we're
Interesting.
doing this, if you guys like this conversation, do us a favor. If you haven't already, go ahead, click like down at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It helps the algorithm out. And if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, which y'all waiting for, we're doing so well on YouTube. You can help us out with that. Continue to do that so we can continue bringing shows like this. Now, moving on. So we talked about resumes. I would say let's talk about myths and facts.
Okay.
Facts of fact. You are a military individual transition to civilian life that has so many different experiences and valuable skills you can bring to a civilian sector that's valuable. That is a fact. This is not good. I wouldn't say it's fiction, but people always say, "Oh, people gonna be lining out your door to hire you," blah 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 blah, right? And in some cases that's true, but I think for me, I've approached this whole experience as not thinking that way. That I have to start at the bottom, and then if I get an opportunity where I don't have to start at the bottom, then it's icing on the cake. Because for someone like me being in this level of position in my career, the thought initially would be of entering a job at the lower level is almost like ugh, you know what I'm saying? Like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? You like scoff at it. But if it's a job where you need a foot in the door, sometimes you got to humble yourself and say, look,
Mm.
Yeah, I was a command chief master sergeant. I'm senior. I'm equivalent to a human resources business partner or director. But in order to work at said company, I have to start on the ground level in the cubicle. Am I willing to do that? Well, if that's something I really want to do, then sometimes you will have to do that and then work your way up. In some cases, there are a lot of folks I know that did that and they ascended to the senior level in short of 6 months. Some employers just want to see if you're able to humble yourself
Mm.
and work at another level instead of just assuming. And then you've got to also be mindful of not everyone thinks of your experiences as positive. There are some civilian folks that have their own preconceived stigmas and ideas about military folks. They got PTSD, they're hard to deal with, they're too structured, they're unable to be flexible when it comes to things like that. So, not just employers, but your fellow employees may think that and may be intimidated by that. So, you got to consider that as well.
Yeah, Tony Boston. I'm trying to wait for his comment to pop up. So since it's not, I'll just go ahead and read it. So many senior leaders struggle with that. I have seen it firsthand. They've forgotten how to work, and it shows tremendously. Yeah, I think that's important to know that it is cool. And we all know people that have left the military and went to six-figure jobs. Like you just said, your SCS,
SES.
yeah, SCS guy. I'm sure that's somewhat close to a six-figure job, if not is. So we all know people like that. It happens, and shout out to them. But I think, unlike the military, or like the military, it's about timing. Some that position has to be open for an employer to fill it. So if stars align when you get out, you get your resume, you're good for the position, and the position is open, boom, you can get right to it. But unless you're searching for 1,000 different companies and trying to find which one's open, sometimes you might have to take a step back to take two steps forward later, which should be okay. It should be okay for everybody to do. But just remember the position has to be open. It's almost like the military. If you want to say you want to work protocol, but protocol is full, they're not going to hire nobody there. You have to wait for protocol to open, still be on the base, have the retainability to take the position, not be hot for a PCS, not be hot for getting promoted. You know, a lot of things have to align for those positions. Same thing for the civilian world. Same exact thing.
Yeah. And then be prepared for, I won't say disappointment, but I had this thing I always say is revise and apply. You don't wait for one opportunity. You put in for one position and then you keep going. Sometimes some people will put in for that one dream job they see and they wait on that one. In some civilian sectors, you may put in a resume, you may hear nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
That's horrible.
I've seen
That is
one time there was a
horrible.
job at USA and they had over 300 applicants.
Right.
And so naturally, you're high on yourself. You put in for a job, like I'm getting that job. I'm qualified for it, but you hear nothing. You revise and apply. Rick Reviews one
What
on
you
YouTube. What's up, brother? He says, "Be prepared to remember the phrase when you like fries with them." Thanks for your positivity, Rick Reviews.
Kevin Ott says civilian hires and civilian promotions are highly competitive at the level that military members cannot fathom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the difficult part is not hearing that. It's not like the military where you can ask your chief, "Hey, chief, did I get that job? Hey, chief, you heard anything?" And they
Why
be
didn't we
like,
get that straight?
"Yeah," they'd be like, "Nah, you didn't get it." I'm like,
Take it
"All right,
down,
cool."
brother.
But civilian sectors, man, you put in, I don't know how many applications you put in. I know I put in a few. But when you put it in and you just like pause when you put it in, that's crazy. When
Yeah.
you throw up a resume and you don't hear nothing back, you're like, should I call and check on it? Do I just keep going? It's hard. It comes to a point where it gets kind of uh humbling and also
Mhm.
disappointing
Yeah.
to not hear anything. Just like, oh my gosh, oh my. But then when you do, I mean, I got a call for Lucid not too long ago. I don't think I even told you on Thursday. I got a call to go work at Lucid. Direct hire. I was excited as hell.
What's it called?
Lucid, the car company.
Oh, I was about to say Lucid. That sound like a drug or something.
No, Lucid, the car company.
Oh, okay.
The only problem is it's an hour and a half away. and I'm not driving a 3 hour
Mm.
round trip every
Were you
day.
aware of that before you applied?
Nah, it was at
Um,
Phoenix, but the only hiring they
um,
had was in Rio Grande or something like that. That's an hour and a half away.
mm,
Not driving a 3 hour round trip every day. That's quite extreme.
yeah.
But it was
That's
good to get a call back. It's good to
yeah,
get a
yeah,
call back.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good to get a
That's
surprise. You know what's funny? They called me, and of course, my phone doesn't recognize the number, so I didn't answer it because of freaking all the spam calls. And then they called back, and I was like, "Huh, that's weird. Spam doesn't call you back." So then I answered, and that's what it was. But anyway, yeah. So now I got to answer all spam calls, which sucks. It
so
sucks.
question, did you tell them that you wasn't interested or did you just not gonna show up?
No, no, I told him. I told him. I said that that's a little bit further out, but if there's something in the greater Phoenix, West Phoenix area, then I'm willing to do that. But that I'm not going to be able to make that 3 hour round trip.
Okay, so there's another question. When they called you, did they offer you the job or did
Yeah,
they go to oh, so there was no interview. It's like, hey, blah 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 blah.
yeah. We saw your application. We
I
would
got
like to
you.
go ahead and hire you for this position.
Oh wow.
It's in Rio Grande or something like that. I think might be saying the city wrong. But I looked it up while they were talking. I looked it up and I was like, man, hour and a half. I was like, I'm not gonna be. That's an hour and a half away. It's quite far out.
So that's a good comment too. Is you everyone has different red lines, but you got to determine your red lines when you transition to. A lot of us spent our times working weekends, odd hours, Panama schedules,
Mm.
12-hour shifts or whatever, or traveling, doing a lot of traveling, PCS deployments. You're gonna get to a point which is perfectly fine. You're gonna set red lines where it's like, I'm not working weekends, I'm not working night shift, I'm not um working extra hours, and that's perfectly fine. You gotta look at transition is you lost a lot of your time in the military in a positive way, mind you. But for me, I have a red line. I'm not lifting no boxes more than 20 pounds. I'm not gonna be standing for 12 hours. I did that while I was on active duty. I'm not working weekends, and I'm not working late hours. Now, I will do it for the job in moderation, but if the line remarks in the job says you must work on weekends, I'm not putting for it. There was one job I thought would have been perfect for me for my second career getting into social work and mental health. And the red line was working Tuesday through Saturday. So that means you're gonna lose. Am I willing to lose my Saturday? Like maybe
Mm.
younger me, but not older me. So that's one thing to consider as well.
Oh, could always accept a position to get inside the company and later transfer once you've proven commodity. Once you're a proven commodity. That's true. So what's I guess what's the red lines for that one? Look, Josh. I can't say his name. It's kind of hard. I think it's supposed to be Joshua, but Joshua.
It's just yeah, it's just the way you said.
JROTC instructors paid months off in the summer break. That's huge. That's huge. Off every weekend, summer breaks. That's huge.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get in that position, Josh. If you are already in that position, I'm not sure if you are or not. Let me know. Let me know because I might
I think
need
he's
some
trying to
insight.
tell people his name is pronounced Josh Wiles. Josh Hua.
Yeah, I think
Hua.
so too. Or just try
Hua.
to be a
Instead of Joshua. Josh
yeah. But
Hua.
let me know. Are you a JRTC instructor now? But anyway, I digress. I don't know if there's anything else with retirement. I will say out processing is big. Uh make sure your DD 214 worksheet is done. Uh make sure you get access to all the stuff you won't have access to anymore. That's big. So make sure your passwords are set because you won't have a cat card login anymore. So if you need to get access to MyPay or just want to be nosy and get on the portal and look at old stuff to reminisce, you need now a login and password. Make sure you pull your education records, your military education, because you didn't know this. Once you're out the military, actually, I did know this. Once you're out the military, the education office can't pull it. You have to go into CCAF and request your transcripts if you want any military. So any military schools you went to, any military classes you went to, you need to go to the education because there's no login and password for that. You need to request a hard copy of that, an official copy before you retire. So there you go. Some nuggets that people don't say.
We mentioned the last show about your medical care.
Oh,
You
Charles David just said it.
you're really gonna have to. Did you guys touch on healthcare after? No, but we can get in that in a second. But I was gonna say this is your time when you decide to retire. While you're active duty, your last 6 months, you need to hit the hospital hard if you've got ailments. Alicia says you can get a military printout resume on my vector. Yes,
Oh, that's
I was
true. I
gonna
forgot
mention
about
that.
that.
You go on my vector and you print out a form, it does a decent job. It translates what you do in the military to civilian speak.
Yeah.
It does a decent job, but it's still something valuable to have.
Yeah.
But your medical care, make all your appointments, get as much done as you can because once you transition, that stuff ends. And now you're going to really have to pay for it. And what you don't want to do is put off a root canal
Mm.
or something major that the military could pay for in full. You can get first dibs at the hospital than when you're a retiree. So get all that stuff done now as soon as possible.
Yeah, so a couple different things with the medical piece. Like if you need to get TRICARE or want to get TRICARE, and we'll just use TRICARE, you can get any medical coverage you want. But paying a monthly enrollment fee, or excuse me, I think that is a monthly enrollment fee, a one-time enrollment fee, a monthly fee, and then copays are all tied into that you do not that I mean for the last 20 years have not had to pay a copay anywhere you go, and now all of a sudden have to pay a copay is definitely different. And that could come right out of your retirement check like an allotment so you don't see it. But if you want your family to be covered, the enrollment fee for that for I think TRICARE is around $700 for TRICARE Prime. TRICARE Select is a little bit more. Those are two options you have. You could Google that if you want to know the difference, but kind of the difference is TRICARE Prime, you still go on base, go see a PCM on base. TRICARE Select, you could select where you want to go, but is it a lot more expensive? And you have to pay copays every time you go. So when you're in line with people off base and they be like, hey, you have a $20 copay, and then you go up in line and be like, all right, go ahead and have a seat. Now you're going to be the $20 copay person. So just remember that. Just remember that. And specialties are more important. So like your mental health piece, that is pricey. That is
Mhm.
pricey.
Yep,
Pricey.
yep. And then let me see. Let me look at my notes, make sure it's something I'm not missing. Um, I think Pete captured the majority of the stuff. I don't know if he wants to get into more of the VA stuff, but if not, one thing I would say is be mindful of the timelines as far as when you get your last paycheck. We already talked about finances already. Tony Bostic says, well, Kevin, oh, good Lord.
No, I'm sorry. Tony
Tony
Boston.
says TRICARE Select is legit. Interesting. Copay not bad. It depends on if you want to deal with the military. There are a ton of free programs for resume building and civilian transition. Pay attention to TAPS and if possible, go twice. Yeah, we talked about TAPS a little bit last time. I wouldn't say it was bad. I guess it depends on where you go. Some good information. I do think some things were left out. Kevin says copies of all your travel vouchers. That's the only proof that you were at a certain location at a certain time.
There are other proofs. You can get medals if you got a medal from that
Hmm.
location. If you got
Your travel vouchers. Oh, that's a good idea. Didn't think about that.
yeah, if you got a medal from that location, if you got a certificate of appreciation or something like that. But you're right. Other than that, or if it's on your EPB that you were at that location. Other than that, yeah, that's really all you got. Great point. Great point.
Yeah, going back to that too, with your medical piece, make sure I said this before, but I can't stress it enough. Get your medical enough medical stuff done prior to you transitioning. Because here's thing that something to think about. We all wish for folks to get 100% out the gate, but if for some reason you don't, what you don't want to do is struggle to try to tie any ailments you currently have to service connection. That's why you get it looked at while you're in.
Hmm.
Don't wait to get diagnosed with sleep apnea when you get out. Get it done while you're on. Now, does that mean if you do, they can service connect? They can. It's a little difficult because then now you're going backwards in time to try to connect something that states that maybe you developed sleep apnea while you were in.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier if you do it when you're on active duty.
Something that I experienced with the referral piece is if you are on an active referral and say you get out in January and in February, or let's say January 1st and January 6th is your appointment, you now have to pay a copay
Yep.
and you have to have the right coverage. So if the coverage didn't switch over in time, then that referral is no good. You still have a referral to go, the referral's not gone, but now you have to pay the copay for it. Best decision was getting a rating locked in before getting out. Made life easier. They don't care as much once you're out. Interesting.
That's
Interesting.
true. That's true. That is true. Let's see. So you have that, and then in the end, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of stuff we can cover, but not to belabor the series. I think ultimately, I would leave you with prepare, prepare, prepare. Reflect, trust the process. Remember that there are other folks, a lot of your friends or family members who are prior military that transition just like you. You will figure it out. You spent your whole year, your whole majority of your life in the military, learning to be flexible, going from base to base, job to job, trying to figure it out. You will figure it out. Don't be afraid to reach out for help
Man.
for people that you know that you trust, because
Hmm.
you're going to have, I was sharing this with Pete the other day. You're going to have some people that relish the fact that you're in this position and now they're in a position where they can make decisions, and they relish the fact of almost throwing it in your face instead of making it easier. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
You know
yeah,
how you know how somebody was trying to figure out how to get at the top of the hill
yeah,
and they finally got up there and all they had to do is just reach a hand out and pull you up, but no, they wanna say, "Keep going.
yeah,
I made it." You're
yeah,
gonna run into people like that.
yeah.
I would tell you, be very careful of those people, avoid them if you can. Find a person that had a rough time getting up the hill, but they're willing to put their hand out and pull you out. Those are the people you wanna stay close to. Tony B says he leaves a website link, ton of info and tabs. Most people are lazy and don't read. Gooch, be easy on people. Gooch, be
Nah, he's
easy,
right. He's
man.
right. He's right. You know what? I need to get a big shout out to Tony Bostic while you on here. We had a conversation at ET's retirement ceremony that really helped out and led me to where I'm at now. So, Tony Bostic, if you remember somewhat of the conversation, just everything's gonna be all right. Just stuff like that, networking and stuff like that. Thanks for that. But I still need help with the job piece. So if you could help out with that, I appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know if you want to do episode 5. If we have something else to talk about or something we forgot about, maybe we'll swing into that. If not, we can press on. But I think it was a good 4-part episode. Maybe we'll do 5 parts. Push it out a little bit early and see if we can get some more people on here, ask some questions and stuff like that. But definitely, man, reach out to people, man. And people don't know if you need help unless you tell them. And so the part that's hard is humbling yourself. Humbling yourself. We all get out at different phases in our life, whether you're 30, whether you're 40, whether you're 50, whatever it is and where you've been at. But definitely reach out to people, just talk. Just open your pause. Just open your mouth and start talking and see what comes out of the conversation. A lot of it you're not going to get the answers you want, but sometimes, like I've given Tony Bostic some love, just a conversation helps. And of course, my man Philly DC, we tap into each other pretty much every day because we're going through the same struggle together. It is a very big help to have somebody going through it with you, but it's a very big help to have somebody just to talk to and just BS and vent and get this off your chest, talk me off the ledge, whatever it is. Have somebody that can help you out. Yes, be humble, but committed to your journey. It will work out, and keep 3 mentors on standby. 3 is a good number. 1 is good
Mhm.
if you got a good one, but 3 is probably a better number, definitely. Uh, Josh said, hit me up on the side if you want info on JRTC. I'm going through the process now. Good luck with the process. Good luck with that. We also have Jess Player, who's the JRTC instructor on here. She's already in the seat doing the instructor piece, so she can help out. I'm sure she's willing to help out as well as I put her business out there. Do you want to go to football? I think we should while we have a couple more
We
minutes.
can, but another thing that just came to mind, even if you're not working, if you can't find something, if you're passionate about something, you can always volunteer and do nonprofit. That usually
Mhm.
leads to employment too.
Good, yeah.
Or you can start your own nonprofit. There's a couple of folks that created their own business. Like Todd Simmons, he created his own business, something he was passionate for, and is doing extremely well at it. And you have some people through connections, they work together and doing something they love. You just got to figure out what you really want to do and then go after that. Y'all be all right. Kevin Knox says the Bears.
I'm,
Sorry,
sur-
brother.
I'm surprised you didn't mention it, but just because it's your first job doesn't mean it's your last job.
Oh yeah, good
Kind of
point.
like a house, just because you buy a first house doesn't mean it's your forever house.
Yeah. Remember
Sometimes you have
that.
to
You can always quit.
get or
You don't
put in
want to
your
keep
2 week,
quitting,
put in
though.
your 2 weeks, put in your 2 weeks.
At least find something. You want to be like, yo, bro, what you been doing the last year? Man, I quit like 8 jobs, bro. Like, you
Yeah,
don't want to do that because eventually it's gonna get out. Like
yeah.
this dude's a quitter. You know what I'm saying? But and plus it's time wasted. I think you would attest to this. I think when you retire, you don't have a lot of time. And one thing I want to mention before we go over into football, I thought that was the last thing, but this is even more vitally important, is your mind, right? You've got to take care of yourself, man. Here I am retiring in my early 50s. I've known, God rest their soul, who passed it in their mid 50s, early 50s, even 40s. I know a couple of friends, right? So you got to think, you've been going hard all this time. You'd be surprised how much your mind has been affected in your body too. You got to take care of yourself, man. So
Mhm.
don't be in a rush to get back into the ring. You know what I'm saying? Think of it as a boxer, right? You've been boxing for 12 rounds. You won by decision. Maybe you knocked them out. And you ready to get in the next fight because it's a big payday, but your body may not be.
Mhm.
And that next hit you get, you may not get up from. So take the time out to take care of yourself, man.
For
We
sure.
can move on if you want.
Yeah, ready to go to some football. If
Yeah.
you don't know, the playoffs have been great this year and getting even better as everything is coming. All the home teams are winning so far for the divisional round. As you see behind Philly, Seattle kicked the dog crap out of
Yes.
San Francisco. Like,
Yeah.
goodness gracious. The worst playoff game has happened last night, 41-6. San Francisco scored all their points in the second quarter and scored nothing else after that. Bills and Denver. Denver is moving on without their starting quarterback, Bo Nix, which, man, tragedy. But Denver is moving on as they beat the Bills 30-33 in overtime. So we got move on to the games today. We have the LA Rams as they take on the Chicago Bears. Thoughts on that one?
Before I move on to that, bang bang Niner gang.
Mm.
Shout out to my folks, Adam Van Cleve Golf, and all you other Niner fans out there. Welcome. Just like what did Eddie Murphy say on that movie, Hoodlum? Was that Hoodlum?
He wasn't in Hoodlum. He was in
Welcome to the Boom Boom Club.
God, dog,
No,
I
that
can't
was
think of
Life.
it.
That
Life
was Life.
is Boom Boom Room.
Welcome to
Yeah.
the couch.
Yeah.
Bang bang Niner gang. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Justin Petey. He texted me last night. He's like, Brock Purdy, top 10 quarterback. Get that ish out of here. Justin, you was wilding out last night on the messenger, bro. He was wilding out. So I think you were one of the ones that said Brock Purdy was top 10, wasn't he?
I still think he is.
No. No. Anyway,
Shoot.
moving on. Rams versus Bears in Chicago. Cold day. You brought up an interesting statistic the other day. What was Matthew Stafford's record?
It's
in
like
cold?
5-12 or something like that. 5-9 in cold or freezing weather games.
Mm.
And he has not won a playoff game in cold weather. So those games are regular season. He has not won a
got you.
playoff game in cold weather.
Mm. Bostic says Purdy equals Hurts. That's pretty. You know what? I'm gonna ask you, man. You can elaborate on that, man. Don't speed past that. I don't know about that, but anyway, last I checked, Hurts went to the Super Bowl and won an MVP. But anyway, moving on. Rams versus Chicago in Chicago. I see this as being a low-scoring game, but
Very-
not to the point of 10-3 or something.
Okay.
I still think the Rams are going to put up points. They're not going to put up 30, but I see them putting up at least 20 points.
Yep.
The Bears, my thought process would be is the Bears are going to be unmatched against the Rams. But just like we said yesterday, coaching matters. And I tell you, something about Ben Johnson's got it.
Over McVay?
Nothing, yeah, Ben Johnson got them dudes ready to go to war, man.
Yeah.
They believing that they are going to win it all. And I think that matters. However, I still think the Rams offense is too electrifying. And I still think the Rams are on the road. And I would love to see the Rams versus the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. So I'm gonna go Rams 24-17
That's
against
so
the Bears.
I am taking the Bears 24-28.
Wow.
I do think the Rams will score. I think the Bears will score, but I think the Bears will get a last second touchdown that puts them up by 4. The Rams will try to go back and get a last second fourth quarter drive, and Matt Stafford will throw the game losing or game clinching interception. I also think
Wow.
Matt Stafford will throw at
Mm.
least 2 picks today. At
Wow.
least 2. I think Cade Williams will throw a pick. Cold weather. So if you saw last game, cold weather produced fumbles. Josh Allen had 4 turnovers himself. He's still a top 10 quarterback, but had 4 turnovers himself. And then Cook, who was the league leading rusher, put the ball on the ground also and had a turnover. Denver put the ball on the ground but did not turn the ball over. So interesting fact there with that. So you have the Rams, I have the Bears, and we will go to probably to me the game of the night, Houston versus Patriots. And people will say, why? I like defense. If you like defense, this is the game for you. Houston's defense against the Patriots and Drake May MVP possibility, although Matt Stafford is going to get it. MVP possibility going against Houston. Your thoughts?
I wouldn't say
In
it's
New
a
England.
matchup of the night, personally. I'm more looking forward to the Rams and Bears game, personally. I am interested to see. No, I'll take it back because every time I doubted Houston defense, they proven me wrong every time. The way they dismantled the Chargers, they played the Chargers last time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The way they dismantled Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh's team was scary. First half of the game, I think it was only what 6 points scored or something, or 13
I
points
can't remember.
between the two of them, and then they had an explosion. Now it's not the Houston Texans offense; it's their defense.
Yep.
They smacked the living crap out of the Chargers in the second half. It was horrifying.
Or yeah.
I turned off the game. I said, "Man, this game's gonna be trash, man." I think Texas will probably win, but it's gonna be a low scoring game. But my God, I'm not talking about the offense. I'm talking about the defense. It was
Scary.
scary.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I can hear the screams of a woman in a horror movie when I saw that game. It was like watching a horror flick. And so, even though the Patriots at home, I think the Texans will be a problem for the Patriots. I do. I have none but respect for Drake May and Mike Vrabel. They got a great thing going on in New England. But I feel bad for them. But that being said, I think the Patriots are going to win. They're going to end up closing out the game. They're going to win, I would say 17-10.
That's so man, I was thinking the exact same score, and at the end I switched to 17-13. 17-13.
Patriots,
Yeah,
Texans.
Patriots. I think if the Texans win, it would be because their defense forced not only turnovers but also scored.
Mm.
They're gonna have to score on because no Nico Collins. So Texans ain't got their number 1 receiver. CJ Stroud struggled really bad last game. All CJ Stroud has to do is keep time of possession in their hands. So they're gonna have to run the ball. They're going to have to not throw any turnovers and try to minimize the 3 and outs. Even if they can go 2 first downs and not score or maybe get a field goal, it's going to be a field goal game for the Texans, and Patriots are going to have to score some touchdowns. Or it's going to be time of possession. So it might be a boring game as far as, a bunch of first downs. It's not going to be like, I think the Rams Chicago game is going to start slow and then have some explosions.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, but I just think shout out to Houston and D'Amico Ryans for that
Yeah,
phenomenal thing they did
they
in the
defense, man.
winning
But
streak, but
yeah.
that comes to an end tonight. If Houston wins, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, whoever wins in the AFC is going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you could say that. I
Yeah.
mean, so you really think that the loss of Bo Nix kills Denver's chances?
Oh man, the second string quarterback, they put out a stat in 20 games. He's thrown 8 interceptions and 8 touchdowns in 20 games.
Mm.
And none
Wow.
of those were playoffs. So yeah. And they don't even have great wide receivers anyway in Denver. They have
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know any of them.
they have okay wide receivers, but they don't have great ones. And then they have two rookie running backs. So don't know, I mean, not really threat with that. It's mostly their defense, but their defense is not gonna. Now, if Houston goes, man, that's gonna be the most boring game ever. It might be 3-0. It might be 6-3.
Okay.
But if New England goes, they might put up a 40 burger.
Yeah, I would love that'd be a great segue. Who do you want to see in the Super Bowl?
Well, now I would like to see. It's funny because I picked Chicago, but I like to see the Rams. But the Rams versus Patriots is what I want to see. That's
Yeah,
a throwback to when
Yeah.
Tom Brady won his first. I think that was when Tom Brady won his first championship. I could be wrong,
I can't remember.
but I remember the greatest show on turf. I want to say I'm about to look it up. Take us home somewhere where I look this up because I am pretty sure that was.
Mm. Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting
Yeah.
day today for the what's that? What?
Yeah, 2002 New England Patriots upset the St. Louis Rams 20-17.
Wow. Wow, that'll be interesting. Great point.
Shout out to me for pulling that one out my ass.
Josh Hua says Stidham suck. Denver is cooked.
Yeah, cook.
Now
cook.
wait a minute.
Cook them.
Nick Foles won our Super Bowl as the backup.
Nick Foles had a couple games before the playoff. He didn't come in the division. The division came and try to. And y'all had a great defense and a great offense.
I wouldn't say we had a great offense. It wasn't as good as the one we won the Super Bowl. We didn't have Terrell Owens. We had Nick Foles. I can't remember. Oh yeah, we had Alshon Jeffrey. That's what we had. Denver cooked with extra Lowry seasoning. So, wow, that's interesting. And you guys think Denver is done
Denver is done.
all because
I'm
of
sure
Bo
they
Nix?
know they're done. If they had 2 weeks, maybe. But the only thing that they won, why they won yesterday, is freaking Buffalo had 4 turnovers,
Mm,
5 turnovers. No, they have 4. They have 4. Because Josh Allen had 2 interceptions and a fumble, and then Cook had a fumble,
mm,
and they still went to overtime and
Yeah.
barely won. One because of a flag.
yeah.
So don't have no respect for.
But wait a minute. The Ravens won their Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. You don't think Houston could do the same?
Houston?
Yeah, Houston. They
No,
have a
because
good defense.
because whatchamacallit had one of the best running backs at the time. There's not a good running back right now. Oh man,
Good point.
Rick Review said NFL faker than a WWE.
Now, why would you say that? Man,
Wow.
come on, man.
Wow.
Now, Rick Reviews, this is a great point. Hold on. Josh Hua says Foles was least mid. Stidham is that last birth.
Yes.
Yo, that's comment of the day. Boy, that's a good one.
Wow.
5 turn. Rick Reviews, think about it. Why would the NFL, if it was rigged, why would the NFL allow Josh Allen to depart the playoffs? Out of every quarterback,
great point.
every player
great
in the
question.
NFL playoffs right now, Josh Allen is the moneymaker. You think everybody cares about Matthew Stafford? I love Matthew Stafford, great quarterback. You think everybody cares about Bo Nix or Drake May or Caleb Williams? No. Josh Allen is the last of, what do they call it? The Mount Rushmore quarterbacks. There's no Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. He was last year's MVP. Plus, Buffalo never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Think of the story if Josh Allen was able to propel them to the Super Bowl. Why would they do that?
I don't think they're faker than WWE.
Nah. Yeah,
Vince Mc-
WWE is bad.
yeah.
Anytime when you're about to hit somebody, they like, even 2 feet away from 'em, they like, it's not that bad. Now, basketball, maybe. Charles Davis says, when and how did he break his foot? Never saw lip. I agree.
I agree.
I
I
don't know
thought it
what
was a
happened.
celebration. I
He
thought
went
maybe
to the
it's
bathroom, the toilet.
yeah.
What
I was like, was it the celebration afterwards? They never said.
happened?
Like I was lost. Like broke a bone in his foot. Like what the heck happened? Maybe he took a trip to one of the islands. That's crazy. That's crazy. But anyway, that's our picks for the game coming on about 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I think. No, it comes on about an hour and a half or something. When's the game come on? Let me check. It comes on in no way, it comes on. Oh, did they so the Texans Patriots comes on at 1 o'clock. So about hour and a half. So sit back, relax, watch that. Chill out, enjoy your Sunday. Hopefully, some of y'all have Monday off for Martin Luther King Day, so enjoy your Monday. And we'll be back next Sunday. Don't know what we're going to talk about. Maybe we'll do part 5. Maybe we'll move on to a different thing. Who knows? Who knows? But thank y'all for coming out. Review all these parts on your wherever you find your podcast at, or go on YouTube if you want to watch us while listening to us. Whatever you want to do.
Hey, shout out to the people I've talked to, and as well as Pete, that drop us lines of how the subject matter was beneficial to them, and also some ideas of other shows. We try to look at all topics, not just military, but we do get a lot of requests to talk about military topics. So you may see some in the next couple of shows. And as always, drop us a line. Let us know how we're doing, what we missed. This show, we do it for y'all. So we would love to hear y'all comments. We thank for y'all supporting us. I see there was a comment down there by Charles Davis. Who is your offensive coordinator pick for Philly DC? Even though I made fun of this guy throughout the last 2 seasons, calling him a cyber nerd or whatever, like somebody who's in a house living with their mom playing Fortnite, Mike McDaniels from the Miami Dolphins. Would love for him to be our offensive coordinator.
Go
Whoever
from head
it
coach
is.
to OC.
Huh?
He's like, go from head coach to OC, huh?
Yeah, I think he's open to it, because that will, if he does well, that will open him back up in the head coaching circle. I know he's had a couple of interviews, like with the Baltimore Ravens, to be their coach. I don't see Baltimore going with him. The right move is for him to go back to being offensive coordinator, do well, and then build the buzz, because whoever's the offensive coordinator is going to decide whether or not Nick Sirianni has another season, and Jalen Hurts, to be honest. So it's critical whoever we pick. Joshua Wells says, great chatting with y'all. Respect for staying active and putting that goodness out there. Oh, no doubt. We're going to keep going, bro. Till the wheels fall off, man. And that's actually because of you guys. So we appreciate and we thank you guys. So that being said, we will see y'all next week. We may do a show in between. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe there. Turn your notifications on. We're going to really start getting into YouTube space. So it'd be great to see y'all when we start doing more shows on YouTube and stuff. And